Hey guys, RTC back here for that video. Guys, today we have really cool information about a VR headset from Apple. Now, we looked at this around a year ago. We looked at a patent from Apple talking about, this actual VR headsets. But shout out to MS Power User and especially the actual writer, Sir, who went ahead and posted this on the website because this is some interesting information. So according to sources right now, we could see this Apple VR headset as soon as Q4 of 2022. So yes, the end of next year, we might see a VR headset from Apple. Interesting. Starting off right away, guys, let me tell you, this VR headset is going to fall right in the line of Microsoft's VR headsets. You guys do not know, Microsoft does make VR headsets, but they don't really make them cheap. They have their, business models that are going to go ahead and revolve around like $4,000 or $5,000, and then we also have their more consumer-based models, which still are like $3,000 or $4,000. Now, the thing is, though, with this Apple VR headset, is the price tag is really just going to go ahead and kind of support that, idea, because of the fact that this VR headset will be, in sense, more powerful than any M1 chip running device. So whether it's an iPad, an iMac, a MacBook, whatever, this will be more powerful than any of those devices. Second thing, this will go ahead and give you two 4K displays for each eye, so this will be full 4K. What we saw in like the Oculus Quest 2, for example, was not legit 4K. It was 1080, it was 1440p, upscaled a little bit, closer to 4K, but not exactly 4K. This will go ahead and run at 4K per eye, 120 hertz refresh rate. It will also go ahead and give you Wi-Fi 6E, and yes, you might see the wires and kind of question it. It will have to be tethered to a PC or computer. And to be honest, it kind of does make sense. Let's be honest. This thing is going to be more powerful than an M1 chip in a small little compact device like this. First off, this thing is going to run super, super hot. Okay, that's just a given, right? Second off, it cannot run everything in just this little chipset. Okay, so with that being said, though, what do you guys think? Because I will tell you like this, okay? Because while this is so freaking dope, I love this concept. I love this idea. I think this idea is a really cool that Apple is getting into the actual, market space of VR. This is their first iteration of VR. And like anything with the first iteration, Surface Duo right here, the first iteration usually fails. I'll be honest. It usually does 60% of what it should do, and then the rest of the 40% that fails is used to make the second iteration of this product. And it's hard to justify this product being a more sense a prototype for being the first generation when you put a price tag of around $3,000 on it. Because at that price tag, you expect to get a premium device. Like, for example, this is $1,500. Actually, I bought this 256 gigabyte. This is actually $1,700. This is $1,800. So when you look at the price tags of those devices, you expect a premium device where you'll get fully, everything you want and more. And the sad part is, when it comes to this, is you have to connect this to the closest competitor on the market for VR headsets. Now, obviously, my VR headsets I do rock are the Oculus Pro and a Quest Pro, which is, the Oculus Quest 2, which of course is going to go ahead and be around $500. But that is, of course, a non-tethered headset. It's a headset you can walk around without having to be wired in anywhere. So that doesn't really compare to this device. The one that would compare more to less to this device would be the Rift S, which of course does have to tether into a PC in order to use. And that of course comes in at a price tag around $500 too. So it's at a point right now, I will say, where I like to see Apple joining the market space when it comes to VR headsets. And when we first talked about this, we even said that, yeah, this is probably going to be $2,000. This is probably going to be at a point where the average consumer is not going to be picking it up. Now, Microsoft went on a complete different strategy. If you guys saw my video about their VR headsets, they actually made it so that the regular consumer on some of the headsets cannot even use their actual headsets. It has to be tethered to a company. So it looks like this is probably not going to be the case with Apple, but I'm interested to see what the consumer market looks like for this device. How does it sell? Is it going to be a niche market, or is it going to be something that's actually very popular? Because whenever Apple releases anything, it seems like everyone flocks to that device and absolutely just, buys it up like crazy. I mean, they literally released a microfiber cloth for $20, put an Apple logo on it, and it sold out instantly. So is it possible we see the same concept with this VR headset? It's very, very possible. But I will say one thing, right? Because this, of course, is tethered to the actual Mac, it is not running this by itself on this device. Now, that is obviously a good thing, because that means it's not going to run as hot as it normally would, because it's going to be tethered to an actual Mac. It's going to be more or less just streaming an 8K experience to this actual VR headset. But what I will say is that I'm going to be interested to see how powerful this device can actually be using that M1 chip, or M1X chip, which would be, because it's more powerful than the M1 chip. The reason why I say that is because, if you guys do not know, certain devices that do run the M1 chip are not able to fully take advantage of the M1 chip. Now, these devices are iPads. The iPads that came out with the M1 chip last year can simply not run the M1 chip to the full capacity. It just comes down to the hardware capabilities of the actual device. It's the same concept with my PC over here, which is a $3,000 PC. I have a 3090 GPU in there, and I have an i9 9900K. Now, that thing can run this 3090 pretty nicely. But let's say I take that out and I put an i5 in there. An i5 is not going to run my 3090 at the full capacity, so I'm pretty much not getting everything I'm paying for. It's the same concept with the brand new M1 iPads, where yes, it has an M1 chip inside, but it simply cannot run it as powerful as it would, like, say, for example, a MacBook or a Mac Mini or an iMac. It cannot run the full capacity of the chip. So I'm going to be interested to see if this can do similar type things when it comes to this. And also, how tethered is it? Because at the end of the day, the claims right now is this is more powerful than an M1 chip, which would put it in the ballpark of an M1 Pro chip, because obviously that's the closest comparison to, being more powerful than the M1 chip. I'm really interested to see how they end up going ahead and making this work, guys. But tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. Would you pick up this Apple VR headset closer to $3,000? I just simply don't know if I could. Tell me your thoughts and opinions down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.